Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Overreaction Tuesday. Welcome in, everybody. I am Tyson from the Uninformed Fan. With me, as always, my good friend and Florida State fan, Jeffrey is riding high today. Jeffrey, how are we doing today, buddy?
Doing great, man. Doing absolutely fantastic. Had another fantasy draft last night in the Kiddies League with, a bunch of friends, Frank, Marla, Ian's in there as well, too. Good old Chad Preen Bean. Yeah, it was good. Good draft, good days. Got our big draft tomorrow. NFL starts on Thursday. We had a great weekend of college football. It's been great.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for coming in on this Tuesday. I know that it is a little bit out of the norm, but as Jeffrey said, we had some extenuating circumstances. Then, of course, we have our big draft on Wednesday night for our big league.
We can live stream that?
I can't wait to get in there. I don't know. 3 times. Are you available tomorrow night? He is available, so you never know. You still got that little sticky stick with the light and all that. All right, maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do live for the draft, so you can watch the champ draft the back-to-back team here. So, well, let's get right into it.
It is going to be interesting. I don't know how Joe is going to. I guess Joe's not going to be there. So
are we video? So maybe he should just watch off the live stream of ours.
That'd be
interesting. Yeah. Maybe he can watch our live stream.
I'm with it.
It's very interesting. I'd like to get everybody's kind of opinion on this, obviously on the rewatch and things of that nature. But, when it comes to fantasy football, in fantasy football drafts, fantasy football groups, to me, like the main thing about this is getting together with the boys and talking shit, right? And just going after each other. And I know that our commission, I'm just going to say the Boathouse crew, because that is obviously where all of these meetings of the minds are coming to change. That
many decisions are being made. Correct.
Yeah, yes. Many decisions are being made between Marcus, TJ, and Mark. I said again this year, I'm very curious to see what everybody's take is on computers versus stickers, this, that, and the other. To me, the computers just make it go faster. I could care less about, the strategic advantage of the computer tells you who to pick, because I can literally just print off the top 300 and mark them off and go anyway to do that. I'm very curious to see what everybody's thoughts on this is computers versus stickers. I know that you are on the sticker category. I enjoy the stickers. However, I don't enjoy a 7-hour draft. Now, with that also being said, before you go there, I need everybody there. I need to talk shit to people's face. I need to see what they draft. And I think it's just something where us as men, right? You see some of these amazing drafts where they're going to Cabo, they're going to Vegas and doing these things. I really enjoy what we do. And when we get together, I haven't seen Sonny in 3 years at all. I haven't seen him. This is no shout out to Sonny. No disrespect to Sonny. I haven't seen him in the chat in over a year. Joe, love Joe to death. I know that man has more things going on, but I haven't seen him in the chat but once or twice in years. I need shit talkers, man. I don't give a shit if you're really good, if you're really bad. I need you just to be involved with the boys. Now, granted, I'm probably one of the few that doesn't have a family, kids, all of this nature, and all of these other things going on. However, there are plenty of people that do that still manage to shit talk throughout the entire process. So, Jeff, what are your thoughts on the stickers versus this, and then just the overall sentiment of the boys draft?
So I love the stickers. I love the stickers because I love the advantage that you get, because somebody's got a cheat sheet that was printed, that was made at the beginning of the offseason with somebody's top 300 that they're walking in there and they're crossing off each name. And it's not the easiest thing in the world, right? It's tough because you don't have a process that's automatically editing everybody who you're staring at through the ESPN app or through whatever you're drafting through. So that's why I like it. I feel like it gives an advantage to people who know what's going on and already have players that are targeted in certain rounds that they're going to go with, as opposed to just being force-fed the information. I'm gonna say, I did text Sonny. I said, how the fuck do you have a proxy that's showing up to the draft? And who's your proxy? And it's my boy Backstreet, who I've known for a long time, which will be fun. Haven't seen Mike P in maybe a year since we played golf. So it'll be cool to see him. But at the same time, yeah, I haven't seen Sonny. You know what I mean? Like, I know he's got a lot going on, and I know he's traveling a lot, and he's got a lot going on with real estate, but I'd love to see him. And I think that's part of the cool thing as well, too. We get to see John and Jess. You get to see, Mark and the family. Everybody kind of shows up and pops up. I don't know who this new kid is who joined our league either. I don't want to go down this diatribe. I don't want to vent too much. Hot Rod drops out a day before the draft. It's just, it's diabolical right now. So whatever, we'll get through it.
All I know is this league used to be like it was like people clawing to get in. Now I also understand it is a high buy-in, and right now times are tough. I know that doesn't apply to Sonny, and I know that doesn't apply to Hot Rod by any means. But I'm with you, man. The computer versus stickers, to me, I guess it is what it is. I think it's absolutely hilarious that after I come from the depths after being general manager of the year for years and years and years, and just not being, my people not performing, that I finally, get the kudos and everything, and now everybody wants to change everything. I find it hilarious. When I show up, I will have no computer devices this time. None, Jeffrey, none.
Well, they were talking about outlawing even phones next year, so
yeah,
interesting as well.
What are we doing here? Like,
I'm a parent. You want me to just go unplugged for 4 hours? What if my kid dies?
Well, that was my thing. Is like everybody with families just not going to answer their telephones for 6.5 hours. Like it's not feasible. It's not feasible. And what are we really looking up, right? What are we really looking up? The only thing we're looking up is possibly depth charts, maybe. So what you want me just to bring up? I'll just print out all 32 teams' depth charts just to be sure.
I did have to look up a depth chart last night because I drafted Jonathan Taylor and I was trying to figure out who his backup was, just to handcuff him in the very last round of the draft. Turns out it's this kid Giddens, who's supposed to be pretty good if JDQ was down. So be interesting.
Well, let's get into it. College football is in full swing. We have NFL starting on Thursday. We are going to be back Friday for our NFL shows, and we're going to be on a Monday schedule. We'll talk about all that at the end. But let's get into it. We kicked off with Iowa State, Kansas. Iowa State taking down K-State at all, 24-21. I know Kelly in Vegas was not very happy at this one. She was fire everyone. Big expectations coming at Kansas State off their progression over the past few years. I know this has to be a big letdown, but Iowa State has been no slouch over the past few years. I know that you said you watched every snap of every down, so I'm gonna let you.
I mean, not necessarily every snap of every game, but I did think this is a good game. And listen, the Dublin games so far have been pretty entertaining. Even though, Florida State took the L last year, but that was a great game against Georgia Tech. They played as well too. This was no different here. Yeah, and then not only you have that, but then you have the Johnson, the quarterback for Kansas State. I don't know if you saw this. His dad fighting his brother in the parking lot after the game. Real fisticuffs. Kind of a wild scene as well too, and some nice messy family business as well. I really like Iowa State this year, and I think it'll be interesting catapulting them into this game they're going to play against, I believe, Iowa this week. They have as well too. It should be a really good matchup, but I'm going to be definitely tailing probably Becht and an Iowa State as well too, just because offense looks good. We know Iowa's not going to be able to move the ball as well, so that should be interesting to see. But yeah, huge win for Iowa State as they do thrub Kansas State and Dublin.
Thrub?
I don't know about thrub, but it was,
I'm just looking here for this wonderful clip. I mean, anytime we have family issues, we have to bring it on. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Do I even remember how to do this? Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Let's see this here.
I mean, I don't want to say threat, but listen, they were up by 10. They get a touchdown.
Back for the Kansas State Wildcats. Apparently his dad and his brother got into a fight after the game in the parking lot in true Irish fashion, I suppose.
That's a good point. Yeah, a true Irish brawl broke out after the game.
There's something in the air.
Yeah. I don't know, but Avery does seem like an Irish name, doesn't it?
I guess it is.
Yeah,
it could be.
I'm not sure the origin of it, but it just sounds.
Well, that seems unfortunate, but also entertaining.
Yeah. messy. We love it.
Oh, I just saw something else on here about Unc and Ocho get heated over QB State. That throwing hands in the Suns. I'm sure they had something to say about that. But yeah, wow, that's going to be a interesting Thanksgiving.
I'm sure it will be. I don't have anything else in this game. I mean, Iowa State won the game. K-State, their offense was good, but I mean, I really don't have anything else.
Again, it's better to lose early than it is to lose late. Party people.
A lot of dogs this week that ended up popping up and covering and playing well. So,
and if you remember our last conversation, we talked a little bit about Week 1 NFL. We talked about Alabama, and we talked about Florida State, which we're going to get into. But I did say that if you remember that Week 1 is the week to take dogs because nobody's primed, nobody's ready to go. I learned that from a capper a long time ago. They love to target Week 1, especially big dogs because very Rarely is the team geared up and ready to go. One team that was geared up and ready to go was the University of South Florida, who absolutely just pummeled Boise State 34-7. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later about how the state of Florida college football being back is absolutely great for all of college football. But this was an absolute butt whooping from 7-0 out of the first quarter. And then they obviously shut about the rest of the game, 10-14-10 to close it out. Is USF football back, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I mean they are. I mean, listen, this game wasn't truly a blowout. I mean, 24-0 in the second half. Makes it seem exactly what it was. I guess it was an ass whooping, but
I was gonna say, what else are you gonna call it?
Yeah, I mean, they forced 3 turnovers on Boise as well too. They were super physical, and also, by the way, great to see a Grammatica out there kicking at Raymond James Stadium. Really cool to see as well. I will say this. It does turn into a great matchup this coming week as well that you have with Florida and USF now. That Gator schedule, just the moment you think it might lighten up a little bit before you get into this stretch, all of a sudden now you got to go play USF. USF has
we had the
dogs.
one cupcake.
USF has some dogs on that team, and they're going to have guys who are going to get poached on that team for NIL to bigger schools next year. Absolutely. But ride the wave this year. Enjoy it. They played really hard. They're well coached. Great job to USF.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting game. And we're going to talk just a hair about more of that when we get to Florida. Western Illinois goes into the University of Illinois, which if you saw any of the reels or the take from that one too, I have my skepticism about the University of Illinois. What I saw out of them was very, very good football. And to all of the people that commented on there saying, you don't watch film, you're right. I absolutely don't. Look at the name of the show. Duh. But the weird part is I get it right a lot. But I will say this. They didn't play anybody, but they did look really, really good. I'm not sure. 3 times. Do we know who the University of Illinois plays this week? I'd be very curious to see when they start playing some competition.
They have Duke.
Okay, and I think that is a 1.5 point spread if I'm correct or remember right, 1.5 or 2.5 against an unranked Duke opponent in Duke.
Duke is plus 2.5 at home.
Yeah, 2.5. So that kind of tells you. I mean, we're talking about the number 12 team in the nation versus an unranked Duke team at home, and you're only favored by 2.5 points. So there is my point of what I'm talking about earlier, as possibly as we always talk about the pre-rankings in college and how do they really mean anything? Speaking of which, the number 1 Texas Longhorns go into the new Ohio State, one of the most just pumped up games of the entire year. Ohio State defense looked absolutely monstrous. Matt Patricia, go get some, buddy. Go get some. Arch rating. We'll talk about Arch here in a second and the expectations. Jeffrey, I know we all watched this one.
I had some strong opinions on this game in terms of I thought Texas was just better at every single position. I thought Texas would roll. I thought the sky was the limit. It was not. I was definitely very wrong here. Matt Patricia dialed up a great game. I also thought that Sarkisian called a terrible game as well too. Some of the play calling was just mind-numbing to me. I don't understand why we're still doing this on 4th down when you have a running quarterback where we're going to pack everybody into one tight little space and try to go get 1 yard up the middle, especially when you're getting your ass kicked over and over again. Spread them out a little bit. Give the quarterback a lane to kind of run through and create some space. It just doesn't make sense to me. But he did it multiple times. I thought the weird screens that they had weren't very good as well, too, where they do those little tight end rubs. They were terrible. Obviously, Arch wasn't great. We can say that. Now, do I think Arch got better as the game went on? Absolutely. Also, are we putting a ton on a kid who really hasn't played in college? And the competition that he went against in high school was terrible. Right? They were small school. So give him an adjustment period. You saw how much better he got in the 4th quarter. He hit some great passes in the 4th quarter. I think they need to have more kind of design plays to get him in a rhythm and get his confidence there and not just go out there and then think that he's going to be Cam Newton and run all over the world. I thought Texas did him a disservice. Was it?
I 100% agree with you with the game plan, but Steve Sarkisian. I will say though, Matt Patricia was just ghosting play. Like showing one thing, running another. I mean, he put on a masterclass
Yeah.
as far as that defensive coordinator. So shout out to him. I'm not taking anything away from Ohio State or that defense, but you're absolutely right. Arch Manning had a piss poor game. And I have a problem with you when we have a quarterback now that is his third year. He sat 2 years behind Quinn Ewers, right? Sat 2 years behind him. If he was that good and he was that, mind blowing of a quarterback, he wouldn't have been sitting back. That's just my point. My thing.
Well,
same with Kyle Trask.
Yeah.
If he was that good, he would have started. So I have an issue when he comes in and all right, it's Arch's team now. He's going to be the number one pick. He's the favorite for the Heisman. He has an $8.6 million NIL value, the most of any other college player. Like, to your point, just because his last name is Manning, we've given him all of these things. We've crowned all of these accolades, and we haven't seen anything. The kid played like 2 games last year, and none of them were on the road. In your very first college football game, you go into Ohio State and go up against an NFL head coach and an NFL defensive coordinator. Yeah, I mean, there's butterflies there, man. But the good thing is we already talked about there's still a path for Texas to get in the college playoffs, especially when it's expanded now. It's so much better to lose early than it is to lose late. And the path is still there. So I wouldn't I'd pump the brakes and just be like, hey, look, Texas defense looks really good as well. They looked really, really good as well. Obviously, holding Ohio State to 14 points is something that any defensive coordinator is going to, plant their flag in, if you will. I think that everything's going to be okay with Texas. However, I just didn't like all of the pressure that we as the public, the media, whatever, that they put on this kid. Like, to me, you got to get some stuff.
Yeah, and let me say this too. The one thing that is concerning is the mechanical breakdown and the issues of the little sidearm, dropping your elbow down and kind of doing this little side pass that he had. Though that's never worked. I think too many times, and I'm going to get into this a little bit later. Kind of like Steph Curry did for basketball. I think Patrick Mahomes has changed the game when it comes to quarterbacking in football. In terms of every player thinks that they don't have to be on plane to make these throws. They think that they can throw it from every single arm angle. They think that they can do everything and that they're the next reincarnation of Patrick Mahomes. There's one Patrick Mahomes, okay? Stick to the script, please. Like, get your hips around. Stop trying to throw the ball on the run where you have nothing squared up and you're getting absolutely nothing on the ball. It drives me absolutely insane.
You're absolutely right, dude. I cannot stand the comparisons to Patrick Mahomes by every quarterback. Just stop. But I mean, I guess you're going to continue to do that as long as he continues to dominate the league. So it is what it is. I think Ohio State, we talked a little bit on the pre-show about the rankings that are coming out. I can't wait to see it. I saw some people have Florida State as number 8 now. They're just literally taking over that spot. We'll see how far Texas drops. And then, we're going to get into, Penn State. We'll just jump into that right now. Number 2 in the nation, takes care of business at home, 46-11. A lot of pressure in Penn State, a lot of pressure on that coach. A roster that's absolutely stacked and is expected to not only contend in the playoffs, but push for the championship. They take care of business at home. Then we went into LSU Clemson, the number 4 team, and then we'll pop back into the rankings. LSU does upset, if you want to call it that. I know that the Clemson was favored. Clemson returned a lot of players. I've criticized Debo's a lot over the years, but digging into his program and the way his philosophy is, I really do think it's a breath of fresh air, in regards to what he expects from his players when they sign there to be able to still compete. LSU comes in. LSU from top to bottom, just looks like a stellar team. They go in there as the number 9 team, take out number 4 Clemson. So we'll see where the rankings come up. But what a game! I didn't get to see it all, but I did get to see a little bit of the end and some really clutch performance plays out of LSU to close out the game.
Absolutely. And I thought one of the biggest things that we were going to see in this game was going to be, LSU getting a new offensive line coming in. How would they respond and be able to keep Nussmeier upright against a stout Clemson defensive line? And I thought they did a fantastic job. I thought Nussmeier clearly looked like the better quarterback out of the two. Cade Klubnik, again, is just the epitome of what we think he is, which is never shows up in a big game, never goes out and performs against SEC competition, and continuously shits the bed in big moments. So I don't see him as an NFL quarterback. I don't know what people see in this kid that they've seen. We have.
Well, they're
3
talking about
years
him
of
being a
tape.
first-round pick.
I know we have 3 years of tape that show us that he's not a first-round quarterback, but here we are. We want to keep on projecting him out there. I think Clemson will be fine. They play in the ACC. I'm assuming they'll be competing for the ACC championship. They'll obviously have a big game against Florida State later on in the year. But other than that, I mean, I really, this was it. They lost at home, and it'll be the same thing. We'll overlook it because it'll be a quality loss by the end of it. So it won't matter.
Correct.
But LSU, in my opinion, is the one that deserves to be number 1 in the country this year.
Well, that's what a lot of people are going to say. And you know what? When we get through with this top 25, we'll come back and see what we project our top 25 to be, and then see what it comes out later on today before we preview the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. So stay tuned for that. Georgia taking care of business at home against Marshall, 45-7. Nothing really to report there. Unless you had something. Did you have something?
Wasn't the spread closed at 39 or something like that? I believe. Is that right?
I don't know. I left my phone somewhere.
So basically 38.5. So this is a really funny stat. Spreads over 38 points with Kirby Smart when he's playing an opponent at home. I believe he's now 1-11 against the spread when the spread is 38 points or higher. So just kind of funny, Georgia's
nice little
so
tidbit,
good,
but I will tell you this as a coach, I don't give a shit about the spread, especially like when it gets to this. I'm sitting my guys, I'm making sure I'm getting some burn on some other players. I'm sure obviously that has to come into it. And that's what we talked about earlier when I said week 1, and it's going to be the same in the NFL. Week 1 is when you target dogs. It's just what it is, man. It is what it is.
Can I tell you my worst beat of the week real quick? Because I don't think we're going to touch on this game. We don't have Rutgers on here, right?
No.
So I gave out Rutgers team total, right? Over 32.5 as one of my picks that I liked this past week.
And where was this pick released?
I talked about it on the last podcast that we had. I was like, I like this, I like this, and this. Yeah, toward the very end of the show. So I put it out at 32.5, and I'm watching the game. I played golf during the day. It's my birthday. I go back to log in to take the bet. It's moved to 34.5. I go, okay, you know what? I'll still take it at 34.5. So I put 3 units on it. Whatever your normal unit size is fine. I decide 3 of those are going to go in. Boom, we hit 3 units on it, right? They scored 31 points in the first half, Tyson. I'm like, this was the lock of a century.
And there was your mistake. There was your mistake.
They kicked a field goal. And that was all the scoring that happened in the second half. And the worst part, Rutgers has the ball. And I think they won 34-31 or something like that, right? Was the final score. And they have the ball with like 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter on the other half of the 50-yard line. And I'm like, well, they need to score because they're only up 3. They're going to have to score. We're good. Tell me how they run the entire 5 minutes off the clock and never have to score and never give the ball back.
So those 3 units out the window.
See you later. I'm over here cashing in my Shedeur Sanders offensive rookie of the year bets to add some more funds to the account.
You should have took the early payout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
They're actually offering me an early cash out on my Bucks Super Bowl at plus money.
I'd take it because the Falcons are going to take them down. But anyway, let's get into
You're a troll.
I'm an absolute Bucks hater. And you know what? Before we continue on this, I will tell you one thing about this whole thing that really pisses me off. It's not that they released Trask, right? But they released him under the IR. They put him on the IR. So what does that mean? That means he has to have an injury settlement with the Bucks before any team can pick him up. Guess what? They still haven't done that for him. And guess what? Every other team has already picked up their backup quarterbacks now. Carolina picked up theirs, Vegas picked up theirs, and they still don't have an injury settlement. And I guess the way I didn't even know this as well. So I guess the way the injury settlement works is, okay, your shoulder, okay, you're going to be out probably 4 weeks. So we're going to pay you the 4 weeks. You can't sign with another team during that 4 weeks either. Bro, they did it. That I don't care what you think about it. That's just dirty. That is just dirty.
It's business, Tyson. It's business.
It's dirty. It's
business.
dirty.
It's business.
Just straight out release him. Just straight out release him. What are we worried about? You're worried about the guaranteed $1 million that you have to pay him? That's what we're fighting about? Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Anyway, Oregon against Montana State out on the West Coast, taking care of business 59-13. Anything you want to touch on that game before we get into your Flower game?
No.
All right, well, let's get into it. The Alabama University goes into Florida State and gets absolutely drugged through the trenches, the storm the field. Well, you know how I feel about that. I was watching the fine meter keep going. I will tell you this. Jeffrey called it on the podcast. He said these Florida State Seminoles are absolutely hungry, and there is a shot that we can beat Alabama, even though it was 13.5. We had a lot of people talking shit on that post. Roll Tide. Well, guess what? You rolled your asses into Tallahassee, and you rolled it right back out with a big old L. Congratulations, Florida State. I'll tell you, that team, you were absolutely right. That team looked hungry. That looked, and then we saw an Alabama team that looked absolutely disheveled. No energy, missing the basics, the schemes, everything. We're already talking about Alabama moving on from the head coach.
Good
and
luck.
I don't know if you know this. I do believe he has a
buyout.
$70 million
buyout. Yeah.
$70 million buyout. And I said this numerous times. What a world to be a goddamn head coach anywhere. What a world. I'm going to sign a contract, and if I suck, I still get paid. Sign me up. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. But let's not take away from the flowers from Jeffrey's Florida State Seminoles. Congratulations, Jeffrey. Break it down for us.
Justice, they were trying to clown me in the TikTok comments, but you know what?
Well, I will say this, though.
And
they were
Tommy,
trying to clown you because you said
I said
it was a 7.5 point spread.
7.5 point spread, and it had moved to whatever it was. So
it didn't move. It was at 13.5 to start with.
I don't think it opened up at 13.5, but
regardless, we corrected it. And like I said, it wasn't about the spread when we were talking about that. It was about the fact of the preseason rankings and being a dog. And if you beat them, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't even about the spread.
And my point about preseason rankings are spot on. Look what just happened this weekend, right? Like, how many times have we seen this many top 10 teams lose in 1 week? It's unheard of. So
that guy was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a good one, actually. I liked that comment. I didn't.
He had a big following too, dude. He had like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, he's got thousands of followers.
I was like, hey, bro, we're just getting started. Thanks for the comment.
Straight shit on us. I'm like, can you repost this, please? Anyway, pretty funny. Shout out Florida State, man. Watching the game, I got a chance to go over and sit with one of my best friends in the world, Bobby, who I went to Florida State with. We had our parents over there, so we had grandparents there. We're grilling out, we're having a good time. Kids are running around. The vibes were immaculate. We're watching the game. They come down. I think they ran 13 plays on their opening drive. They controlled the ball for 7 minutes and 45 seconds. They punched it in for a touchdown. And the one thing that I said was, their offensive line, they have 3 kids on there that are on Bruce Feldman's freaks list, and they're incredibly good. They're going to have 3 kids that are going to be drafted in the top 2 rounds on their offensive line, hands down. And my worry was that we were going to get bullied on our defensive line. It's full of freshmen. There's not a lot of depth on it. I'm like, we're kind of screwed here. And we come down, we score a touchdown. I'm like, okay, we're okay. All of a sudden we get a stop, and then the vibes just changed. That stadium came to life. It was the X factor in the game, in my opinion. People said that they have never heard or been in the stadium when it's been that loud. Damian Harris, who played obviously for the New England Patriots and was a running back at Alabama, said it's the most incredible experience and vibe that he's ever been a part of. And obviously he's on the losing side of it, but he said the only thing compared to would be Death Valley and LSU on a night game against Alabama. And so to get that kind of praise, that kind of hype of everything, I thought it was great. I thought Castellanos played well. I thought our defense played incredible. I thought we manned up. Not only did we play well, not only did Gus call an incredible game, not only did Tony White, our defensive coordinator, call an incredible game. And I love the fact now, too, that Norvell is no longer calling plays. It gives him a chance to actually be a head coach and be more of the mitigator over both sides and kind of look at everything, as opposed to focusing on every single play and what 3 plays ahead, what we're going to be calling here, which I love as well, too. I don't think he should be calling plays. But not only did that, but our boys stood up, and our boys, there were some blocks in there that were incredibly physical. There were some times where, they stood the test. And Tommy Castellanos, whatever you want to say about him, I know this is his 3rd school or whatever it is. And, it's funny, the the arc of Castellanos and the way this has gone, right? You know, he was recruited by Florida State to play running back at one point, and they said Tommy Castellanos, our quarterback. We were recruiting him, but we said we want you to play running back. He said I'm a quarterback. We said we're not going to take you as a quarterback. He goes to UCF with Gus Malzahn, leaves UCF, goes to Boston College. Obviously, things don't work out, and now he ends up back at Florida State, the place that he always wanted to play, as the quarterback of Florida State with Gus Malzahn as his OC.
So he beat Florida State at Boston College?
Twice.
Twice. That's got to be a little heated walking into that hometown locker room after that, huh? No, all those guys.
And, you know, a lot of people made a big deal about the comments as well too that he made. You know, about they don't have Saban to come save him. And he was 100% right. Do you know that every game that Kalen DeBoer has coached Alabama, do you know that they have never won the penalty battle? They have never had less penalties and less yards than the other team. Not once, no matter who they played. That's a terrible stat for a head coach because that shows a lack of discipline, in my opinion.
And to your point about the Tommy comment, right? It's probably not the most appropriate thing, but I enjoy it. I enjoy that confidence, that swagger, right? You know, we shit on gosh, why can't I remember Deion's kid's name? Shedeur. That's the quarterback, right? Yeah. Shedeur.
Yes.
We shit on him, but at least he had confidence walking in. I'd rather see that than some cowering, guy that's going to be the quarterback of a position. What a game.
What a game. What a game, man. And the fact that, also the fact that you withstood the test. You're up 2 touchdowns. It feels very comfortable. They're punting the ball. All of a sudden, there's a bounce. You muff a punt. They get the ball back. They score a touchdown. All of a sudden, tensions are very high. The stadium is not as electric as it was. You're up 7. You have the ball, 5 minutes to go on your own 32-yard line. It's 4th and 1. And you said, line that shit up. And you ran a fucking
I agree with it though, right?
Over the right side of the line. And the push of the offensive line on their defensive line, it wasn't even a question whether he had the first down. Their defensive line was pushed beyond the first down marker. I thought that was just the epitome of the entire game and the way that it played out. Shout out to Florida State, man. Shout out to Mike Norvell. Shout out to those kids. And now we have a couple weeks of playing cupcakes, which we're not really going to have to worry about in the game until we go and face the Miami
Be careful,
Hurricanes
though, Jeffrey.
Be
careful.
Yeah, it's
we've seen that. We've seen the letdowns where do
you know who we play this week?
No, I don't.
Are you ready for it?
Sure.
Our next 2 games are against East Texas A&M, who I think just got a football program.
I don't care. Anybody in Texas, bro. There's so many bad players, so many good players that are 3rd, 4th, and 5th string in Texas to recruit. Love it. Go ahead.
And then after that, they just lost to SMU 42-13. East Texas A&M Lions did.
Hey, they put up 13 though. I like it.
Sure, they did. And then after that, we played Kent State, who was supposed to be one of the worst teams in FBS.
Must be nice. Must be nice. All right.
Who do you have?
Well, we'll get to that when we get down to Florida here in a little bit because you wanted to go in order. So congratulations once again to the Florida State Seminoles. Very looking forward to the rest of the year. And it's going to be nice to see the Florida State-Florida rivalry back into fruition, as well as Miami, USF as well. We're going to get into the University of Florida here in a second. Let's go to Arizona State. They were 11th in the country, 38-19 against Northern Arizona. I don't know what the spread was, but I'm going to go on a limb and say it was more than 19.
For which game you said?
Northern Arizona, Arizona State.
I can give it to you in 2 seconds.
The
spread was 29.5.
Exactly. I would think that you would have to beat Northern Arizona by more than 19 points, but it is what it is. Number 14, Michigan at home against New Mexico, struggled a little bit there. Giving up 10 points in the first half, it was 34-10 in the first half. No, it was 24-10 in the first half. And then they gave up another touchdown to finish 34-17. I'm pretty sure once again that spread's going to be more than 17 points.
Yeah.
We saw a little shakiness out of the Michigan Wolverines, and I think we all expected them to not be a powerhouse this year. But I think we also expected them to whoop up on New Mexico State a little bit more than that. But as I've said, week one jitters. A win is a win, and a coach does not care about a spread. They care about getting the film right, getting the stuff on paper, executing the X's and O's. If they win by 40 and cover, that's great. But if they win by 30 and cover and don't cover, they don't care. They're there to win football games to get the program going. So I don't know though. 34 points against the New Mexico team. I wouldn't be comfortable if I was a Michigan fan. How about you, Jeffrey?
No, I mean, I think you'll be okay. It's Bryce Underwood's first start, so the kid does, look like he's going to be pretty good. So, I mean, I don't know.
This is not the mentality to have, Justice. This is not the mentality to have. But we'll see. All right, well, let's get into it. The University of Florida started at home with a cupcake, Long Island University. We just had that up there. I mean, you can go into it thinking you want all of that smoke, brother. Go into it thinking you want all of the smoke. I respect every opponent. I am not going to get up on a horse and be like, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to see something on paper from Florida State, so I saw that two-win season bounce back. I saw enough. I'll be okay.
I think that's the other thing, too, is that you got to look at it as like these kids for the past year and a half, right? Since you were not allowed to be in the college football playoff, you have been shit on and dragged through the mud on social media over and over and over again. And regardless of what you think, they see every comment, right?
If I was the coach, I'd have it put up in the locker room. Florida State does not deserve the playoff. Florida State, I would have put it all up.
Yeah, and it's funny too because there was kids after the game who were reposting screenshots of tweets from fans that were like, I can't believe this kid's on the 2 deep. Like, we're so screwed this year, yada, yada, yada. It's like, bro, they see everything, regardless of whatever you want to think, they see everything. And they came out and they stood on business.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Florida at home against Long Island, 55-0. I will say this. Yes, they covered, and yes, it's 55-0. I was not impressed by many things that I saw out of the University of Florida. I am very, very nervous about what I saw out of Long Island in that game. The defense looks great. I will say that. They look hungry. The offense to me still looks bland. It still looks like a Billy Napier offense that just, I don't know. We'll see. So we do have USF coming in next week. I think that's going to be a very, very interesting game. Them coming off that blowout. I know, Jeff, you said that the spread was what? 28?
No. It opened at 19. And I sent a message to my group. I was like, this looks weird. Like, I feel like you don't see spreads
your group?
A gambling group text that I have.
Oh, 3 times. Are you in that group?
He is not.
He's not in that group either, huh? I guess we just don't like making money, huh? 3 times? Yeah, I guess it is what it is. I didn't see a lot of good things, man. I mean, I saw some blips here and there. I saw some throws that got completed that probably are not going to get completed against a good defense. I'm very, very curious, man. Very, very curious. I'll tell you what I did like, though. Obviously, let's see here. Where am I going to go here? I do not want to go there. DJ Lagway, obviously, is the anchor of here. But I will tell you this. Where is this? Tramel Jones Jr., the true freshman, looked amazing. Now, I know that DJ Lagway's completion percentage was 83. This kid's was 67. But it just felt like a different offense. It really did. Wow. Yeah.
It's funny.
I think it's really good because obviously with mobile quarterbacks, more than likely you're going to miss a game here and there. I feel very good with this other kid behind it as well.
Everybody talks about the SEC's demise, right? About how SEC there's 2 teams that lost in the SEC, Alabama and Texas. Every other SEC team won. So,
well, I brought this up as well. It's not necessarily the demise, but I will agree with you that the SEC no longer has a chokehold on college football. I mean, for a while.
Once you let everybody start cheating as well, too, it evens out the playing field.
True.
Yeah.
Well,
what? I'm sorry.
I mean, when you got also I don't want to say a boy, like a in North Carolina Technical College that can pay a kid $1 million as well.
Right.
You know, I think it's less about winning championships anymore. It's from a college perspective, it's more of a business transaction. And I think that's why you're starting to see all of this spread out a little bit. You know, if you wanted to, like back in the day, if you wanted to win, you went to Alabama. Just straight up, you went to Alabama.
That's the difference.
You didn't get paid, or you got paid less. You went to Alabama to win a championship, right? So now,
and to get ready for the NFL.
Correct. So do I go to Ohio State where I'm going to be a third string and get $100,000, or do I go to the University of Arizona where I'm starting and I get $1 million? I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess it's good. I don't know, man.
I mean,
so
now that we're on this topic, that I've said for a long time that these TV deals are really important, and the reason that they're really important is because eventually what we're going to get to is these NIL collectives. They'll still operate, but it won't be the Wild West like it is now. You're going to have rules that are going to be set in place. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is going to be mitigated. And what will end up happening is that every team, just like they have now, is they have a general manager who is basically in charge of contracts. These schools will be paying these athletes. The way that it's going to break down is whatever you're going to be allotted is going to be basically off of TV revenue. And I think that's why this conference alignment thing is so important. And that's why you saw a couple years ago guys like Clemson, guys like Florida State saying, wait a minute, we can't get left behind here. We are not going to be able to compete. If we project this out 10 years down the road, where this is going to be, that's why it's so important that Florida State and Clemson are going to end up in the Big Ten or the SEC, where they get a chunk of that revenue, because they can't stay in the ACC and be that far behind everybody else and still be able to operate and compete at the level they are. Imagine if this was like you have the Yankees, right? You have the Yankees, and then Florida State would be the A's. You know what I mean? Like, they're still a professional team, but they do not have the operating budget that these other teams have because they don't have the TV deals, the rights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, to me, that just tells me that we need a salary cap in college football then.
Absolutely.
And to your point, I did see that it finally got through where the universities can pay the players directly now.
Correct. Yeah.
So in my opinion,
that's the first step.
The collective should go away.
You would think.
You would think, but they should go away. I was talking to another guest about this the other day. That was the biggest thing that pissed me off about everything when all this came down, is that we need to get paid from the universities. Everybody's like, okay, yeah, whatever, but we're not going to pay you. And then they turn around to us and be like, hey, we need you to contribute. Otherwise, we're not going to have a good team. And I'm like, well, I guess we're not having a good team. C'est la vie. By the way, cancel my season tickets, because that's absolutely egregious. So if that is the way it's going, then you're absolutely right. There needs to be some type of a salary cap, because you can't have just the Big Ten and the SEC. And no offense to the ACC or anybody else, it's the Big Ten or the SEC now. That's it. The Big 12 is iffy. The Pac West, whatever, y'all. Okay, great. I mean, you really screwed up by letting Oregon get into the Big Ten. That was your anchor out there, especially with Phil Knight. You know, yeah, you're absolutely right. It can't be two conferences or bust.
Yeah, and look at the only teams that are really going to be relevant this year in the ACC, right? Who did they schedule week 1? Okay, I guess you could throw Notre Dame in there as well too. So we'll say 4, right? Notre Dame played Miami, right? Clemson played LSU, and then Florida State played Alabama. You are forced to go play these big schools if you're in the ACC, because otherwise, but otherwise it's like, like, how are you going to be able to compete at the end of the year and stack your resume up, because your conference is terrible.
Schedule shit. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
I agree. And to segue into that, now look at the Gators schedule, dude. Like, okay, yeah, you got Long Island University first game of the year, whatever. But now you play USF. You know, they play week after USF, you play fucking LSU. You know, how to play
the week after that?
After LSU,
Miami.
You play Miami. You know, you play the week
Texas.
After Texas, and then Texas A&M, who's really good this year in the SEC. And then Mississippi State, who's a little bit better, and then Georgia. Like, it just. And then
we might as well finish it. Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, then Florida State. Yeah, it's
like, but everybody should be playing that schedule. Like let's all get in here together and like.
I like the fact that the SEC added the 9th game starting next year, because that's what they're doing, right? They're going to say, okay, yeah, we might have 4 losses, but our strength of schedule is way, way bigger than yours. I do like the conference entire realignment, like to where like the Southeast is literally the Southeast. Florida State is in there, and like that's a power. You're going to have this one over here, and then to your point, the revenue is shared that way. And to me, It should be just like you said. All the money goes into the pool, and to. I mean, I guess you can't really do well. I mean, they have profit sharing in the MLB, so the little teams still get a cut. I don't know how you're going to do it, dude. I really don't. I don't know how you're going to. But to me, there should be something like each school has $10 million a year. That's it. If you can't make up the $10 million, then the excess from the other conferences make it up just the same way MLB does profit sharing. Because
it won't be 10 million. It'll be.
I'm just saying that for an example.
50, but
well, it should not, and that's another bullshit thing. It shouldn't be more than 10 million because what you're doing, you're giving a kid straight out of high school, 18 years old, with no playing time against these big boys, right? Imagine coming off the streets of Pekin, Illinois, and being such a highly touted recruit out of there. You win your 4A state championship, whatever, and now you get recruited to Ohio State, right? And you just got paid $8 million or $5 million as a freshman, and you haven't competed against anybody. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. To me, it needs to be almost even like the NFL, where you have rookie contracts. Where it's just not, what was it, Sam Darnold? What was the Sam guy from Oklahoma that had the last record 50 million deal or whatever? But anyway, yeah, the Rams. Yeah, anyway, it's a wild, wild west. But let's get back into it.
I do want to say one thing as well, too, in terms of Florida State. Just kid for Florida State, freshman Ethan Pritchard, was visiting some family on Sunday. Unfortunate incident happened. We're not sure the details.
Was that the one that got shot?
He did get shot. He's in critical condition, but stable somewhere local. I don't know any of the details.
What the hell are we doing,
He was at an apartment complex visiting his family, and somebody shot him. So,
I mean, what are we doing, man? It's just the lack of life and empathy in this nation and really just the world, man. I'm not going down the soapbox, but yes, thoughts and prayers with him. Hopefully,
if I was going to make up a statement, I would say he got shot by an Alabama fan, but that's absolutely not true. So,
you hear it here first on the Uninformed Fan, Jeffrey.
Put it on TikTok.
Put it on the talk. All right, so SMU taking care of business at home, 42-13. K-State. Did we talk about K-State? I thought they lost.
They just played their second game. They had the opening game in Dublin, which was the week before, which we hadn't really covered. So we touched on it.
And then they barely beat North Dakota.
Yeah.
No wonder why Kelly was like fire everyone.
Same thing with Iowa State as well, too. Iowa State thrubbed whoever they played this week as well.
Illinois State going into Norman, Oklahoma, 35-18. Now, this is an Oklahoma team that has some high expectations going into this year, but we already talked about their brutal of a schedule. Holy moly. I'm bringing up theirs right now.
Yeah, they play Michigan. I mean, they have Temple after, but then Auburn, Kent State's terrible. The way they finish is ridiculous. Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, and then Missouri and LSU. So they have a really strong close to their schedule. And obviously that Red River shootout will definitely be a shootout this year.
For sure. Yeah, it's really just that last whole stretch. Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and then LSU. But interesting game coming up here. Oklahoma versus Michigan this week. Yeah, this week. I mean, that's going to be good. We'll break that down a little bit more on Friday. Texas A&M getting it done at home. Same with Indiana, Ole Miss, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Tennessee getting it done at home. 24th of the nation against Syracuse. That was an interesting game to watch. Anything on those, Jeffrey, before we get into the last two?
I didn't really see much of the Tennessee game because it was on before. And if you know anything about being a parent when you're trying to get kids wrangled, it's like herding cats. Try to get people in a car to try to drive where you're supposed to go. So, just a lot going on. But I did really love the Sunday games as well, too. Those were really
absolutely. Well, Notre Dame goes into Miami and loses a heartbreaker 24-27, last minute field goal there from the Miami Hurricanes. You know my feelings on Notre Dame. I mean, great. I'll tell you, I do have more and more respect for Marcus Freeman. I will say you that. Looking back when we were talking about the Bears head coaching gigs, I was kind of against him a little bit, but I mean, he does coach he does coach a game well. I'll give him that, but they did end up falling short here. Outside of this, my thoughts on this because they play absolutely nobody the rest of the season. And to me, if we're going to talk about teams in playoffs, And if the talking heads come out and say, well, if you win your first game, you're in based on your schedule, you're in. I'm just like, what? So we
Well-
start out, we have Miami at 1, and then we have Texas A&M, and then they don't play a ranked team the rest of the year
No,
as it sits.
As it sits. If they beat Texas A&M, that's why I think everybody's like freaking out about Notre Dame. I'm like, I would buy their stock right now to make the playoff, because the way that it's going to play
They're
out,
still favored to make the playoffs.
yeah, like if they beat Texas A&M, they'll run the table the rest of the way, and
Yeah.
they definitely want the Notre Dame brand in the playoffs. I can tell you that. I did think there were some encouraging things here. Did you watch this game at all?
A little bit.
I watched every play. I thought some of the play calling, not getting Love involved, was kind of egregious. You can definitely tell that they miss Al Golden as the defensive coordinator there, as you can't really just let. Listen, Miami has some great talent, but the fact that you were able to get enough pressure on Carson Beck, and he was just kind of able to sit back and pick you apart, that's a tough one. And also, here's my problem with Miami. Real quick about Notre Dame too. The quarterback I love as well too. He reminds me a little bit of a better Riley Leonard. Carr is a little bit better arm, but he can still move a little bit. He had some really nice rushes up the middle that he had on some delays that I thought were really good and got out of the pocket. So I liked what I saw from Notre Dame. You got to get Love the ball. I don't know how at one point in the third quarter he only had 4 touches in the entire game. He's literally the best player on your team. The guy can leap over 6'8" linemen. Like, please, let's get the ball in this kid's hands. Also, who's the kid number 1 that they had last year, Jeremy, who was really good down the stretch, who literally didn't touch the ball one time this entire game? I thought that was egregious as well, too. Now, on the Miami side, this is kind of, it was so funny. As soon as they were up, somebody was like, oh, we got to take Miami spread. And I go, I got 2 words, Mario Cristobal. There is zero shot that Mario Cristobal is about to run away with this game. In fact, if he can, he will let Notre Dame right back in. And sure as shit, he did it. They came all the way down. Then I'm watching the game, and I go, I know Mario Cristobal. He's going to be so conservative here. They got it across the 50. They're like, we can run it all the way down and kick a field goal, and we're going to be fine. And then you're trotting out this kicker who came in, I think, from FAU or something like that, who literally is going to go out there and attempt a 47-yarder when they already had a bobbled snap. He already almost shanked a extra point. I just don't understand that dude's mindset sometimes of like, let's just play as conservative as possible and play for a long field goal. I can't stand it. I hate it. They make the field goal. It works out. And then obviously the kid from Notre Dame, listen, Miami has some really good edges. Ruben Bain is one of them. And he was a disruptor the entire night. So Notre Dame goes down. Great game, though.
Notre Dame does go down. So let me present this to you, because, again, I've always said that, Notre Dame is an independent. They want to keep their independence, whatever. Then they don't get the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the schedule. So they've lost to Miami, right? So
yeah.
if they lose to Texas,
it'll be a quality loss, though, depending on how Miami finishes.
So a 2-loss Notre Dame team with this schedule still gets in, yes?
No, they have to beat A&M. They cannot take another loss.
So they have to, in your opinion, they have to win out. So they have to win out and be whatever 13 and 12. What? How many? 8-1, 9-1, whatever.
Only because of how weak the schedule is.
Right. So basically, by losing your first game, University of Notre Dame, you now have to win out in order to be in the playoffs. I think that. I think they lose another game, and I still think they get in there. And I think that that's absolutely egregious, and it's bullshit. Because look at this shit, man. Whatever. Get in a damn conference, Notre Dame. And until they put this team into a conference, why would they leave? I don't have to play anybody. I only have to win really 2 games a year, 2 big games a year, and I'm in the playoffs no matter what. Get out of here. Jaden Greathouse is who the 3-time.
Yes. Yeah. And he didn't touch the ball one time the entire game. I thought that was egregious. Like, get the ball in your playmaker's hands somehow, some way. I know. Did Notre Dame lose both coordinators, Jeremy, they had from last year? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Shanik, there are not 5 reasons. There's not one reason.
I thought that soccer is football. Translated.
Here we go.
That's like Inception.
Here we go. Let's clip it. Let's get it out there. Last game of the week was Virginia Tech against South Carolina. Good game. South Carolina, ranked 13th in the nation, had a lot of expectations. They obviously had a good season last year. They outperformed last year, and they're being rewarded with the rankings this year. What was the spread on this? Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it had to be 14.5 or higher.
It was 8.5.
Okay, I was wrong.
One of the games that I loved as well too.
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
Yeah, listen, so this is one of the ones that I circled that I thought for sure. I thought Virginia Tech would have a chance. It was one of those really weird games where you had a little bit of everything. First half, I think there was a safety that you had. There was like a bunch of offense. Nobody ended up scoring. There was turnovers. Kyron Drones was absolutely terrible. I don't know how you go 15 of 35. He didn't rush the ball like he should have a couple times. South Carolina, they get a punt return for a touchdown, and they hit like a 70-yard play, and that was all they needed in the fourth quarter. That was it, and that was the ball game. And so, yeah, somebody who had a Virginia Tech ticket, it was extremely frustrating. And this is what I said about Kyron Drones. Stop trying to think that you're fucking Patrick Mahomes. Stop trying to, square yourself up and throw the ball. Stop trying to think that you can throw from every single arm slot on the planet. You're not him.
Is that who's the kid that dresses like Mahomes, cuts his hair like Mahomes? Is he from Nebraska?
Yeah, Dylan Raiola.
Yeah, the boys here follow a little bit of the MLS, and I know that Jeremy probably follows the PL and La Liga, but I just don't have time in my life for it.
Jeremy, do you follow La Liga? Do you follow Premier League? Yes.
Yeah, maybe, but not really, buddy.
MLS is tough right now. We're Orlando City fans, and the way that game went against Miami the other day, and how they just want to continuously just do this to Messi over and over and over again to cater to him.
What are they doing? What are they doing?
Orlando City, huh?
What are they doing to Messi?
Just two hands, or bracelets.
Two hands. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Well,
Cowboys
what a week for
Eagles.
What a week one for college football. Week 2 is going to get even better, guys. I just can't stress this enough. We've gone through the dark days, and yes, it is very sus over there. We've gone through the dark days, and we are now living the dream. And 2 days from now, we are kicking it off. The Dallas Cowboys rolling into the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday Night Football. The spread is 8, Jeffrey. The spread is 8. Now, we got we didn't really talk about the whole Micah Parsons things. How it's obviously over. If you watch the reels, you saw my reaction to it. Obviously, I knew that the Bears weren't going to get him, but after doing some research, it looks like the Bears probably could have with some inventive cat moves, as the Packers did. This goes back to my point of what I was talking about with the Dallas Cowboys, as far as you can't sign them all. And I don't know who they just gave a contract to, but they just gave a contract
Bland.
literally right after they got rid of Parsons, because now they had some room. I don't hate it, man. I don't. All of these guys, what are you doing? You have to sign this guy. If you sign him to what he just got out of the Packers, you now have the highest paid quarterback, the highest paid wide receiver, or second or third now, and the highest paid defensive end. You have a lot more people to pay on that team. I said this before. You can't pay everyone a max contract. If you draft 4 great players within a 2 to 3 year span, you can't keep them all. That's just the way it is. Players want to be paid. I really want to talk to Buff about this once. I was actually going to try to see if he wanted to come on over the weekend, but I forgot and got melted. But you can't keep them all, man. So I don't hate it. I do think, though, the 2 first-round picks from the Green Bay Packers, to me, is not as juicy as everyone thinks. Because what happened was, as soon as Micah Parsons got traded, Green Bay is now like the 3rd favorites to win the Super Bowl. If you're the 3rd favorite to win the Super Bowl, you're probably not going to have a very high-round first pick. So to me, I would have probably gotten 3. I would have pulled the Sonny Weaver Jr. over there. I would have, ate your pancakes. I want your 3 number ones and that guy, just like David Putney, because I just freaking feel like it. To me, Jeffrey, I don't know. Did the Cowboys give him away for? I mean,
this all stems from signing Dak to a bad contract. And if they
But
wouldn't
that's
have
what it
signed
took at the time. Who were they going to take?
it's tough because the Packers have drafted really well. And so, like, even, yes, they
Well,
like
they are
Jordan
the
Love's-
youngest team in the NFL.
Jordan Love is under contract, but they also have a bunch of young guys on the team as well, too. So you can sign
All
Mike.
on
The thing was, I guess it came down to Michael wanted 5 years. Or I'm sorry, the Cowboys wanted to sign him to a 5-year deal. Micah only wanted 4 because he wanted to be able to re-enter free agency again in 4 years and get another pass.
Thanks, LeBron.
And so that kind of is what it is, in a sense. But I think Jerry just messed this entire situation up. Now, people think that like Jerry's some kind of a genius, you know. Oh, look, Jerry pulled off the Herschel Walker trade. And that was the coup of the century. Like Jimmy Johnson pulled that trade off. Let's be real. Jerry was not really that guy then. Back then, Jimmy was in charge of everything. So before we go in saying that we've seen the proof is in the pudding, that's absolutely false when it comes to Jerry Jones. I think they should have signed Micah Parsons. I think he's a generational edge rusher. I think when you drafted Micah, like I've said before, you knew that you were going to have to sign him to this contract. And I don't understand the fact of, oh, well, you had a conversation with Jerry back in March without your agent, and now you want to bring your agent in, and we're not going to do that, yada, yada, yada. That's completely unprofessional by the Cowboys. You know, you're not going to negotiate a contract with a player without his representation there. That just seems like a bully ball kind of procedure, and I think it's very messed up. When it turns into what the Cowboys actually are going forward against the Eagles this week, it's definitely going to be a hurt for sure. Do I think 8 points is a lot of points? Absolutely. I don't think this Eagles defense is as good as it was last year. I do understand, you know, what Reed Blankenship, Cooper DeJean, you know, you got rid of Slay. You still have Mitchell in the back end as well, too. But I think there's some holes in that secondary that I think that they maybe played above their head because they weren't as exposed as much last year because they had more guys. Whereas opposed to this year, they're going to be on islands. And we're going to see how that's going to be able to work out. And you're going against, in my opinion, one of the best tandems of receivers in the NFL, right? In terms of George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. That's going to be a really interesting matchup for me. Normally, it's week 1, right? You're always going to take unders. You always take underdogs. That's probably the play here. Jerry Biden needs to retire already.
I look at this trade in this way. It's just like, you know, the trade on paper looks good. 2 first rounds plus a starter who is a Pro Bowl, right? Looks great. But you can't tell me that nobody else was matching that. And why would you not go to a different, like, you need to trade to a shit team. You don't trade them to the team that just pummeled you in the playoffs. I just don't understand that whole thing. Apparently, what it came down to at the very end of it, obviously Jerry wanted him to keep playing. He said he's under contract for 3 years. Even though he's not, he has this year, and I can franchise tag him 2 more years in a row. So to me, that tells him that he was trying to, you know, push out money, as we've always talked about. Of course, it's going to cost you more, but then maybe some of the other money dropped off, and he would have been able to resign it. I don't know. I'm not even going to get into that. But it came down to the fact that his Dallas Cowboys cleared him to play via medically in his back. And he said, no, I'm going to get another opinion. I think that's what really woke up the Cowboys. Like, he's really not going to play. He's going to hold out under an injury designation, and he's going to do that because he's not. And so they had to ship him off. But I can't believe that you couldn't get a better shit team to do the same type of trade to get better first round draft picks. You literally just got like maybe the last 10 spots. I don't know. We'll see what happens. You never know.
Well, here's the other thing too, is that whoever was going to bid this much and pay this much for him had to know that he was going to sign a contract. So that contract was already negotiated when he got traded. So that was already in the works. That had already been happening. Obviously, they ironed out the semantics and he agreed to whatever contract it was and then went forward. But that wasn't going to be the case with, you're not opening yourself up to 29 other teams to be able to have those negotiations and stuff.
Well, Green Bay came out very early in the rumors.
They were one of the first ones at the table. So
yeah, it was Green Bay. Well, let's talk a little bit about the game. So we did talk. You mentioned the Philadelphia defense and not being. I agree with you. I guess my only question is, with the Dallas Cowboys offense, is the run game. Is there going to be a run game this year? Is that offensive line good at all to promote a run game? We all know that we have CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens on one side, and then who's it? It's not Goddard. No, Goddard's on the Eagles. Who's their tight end? Kincaid?
Ferguson.
So we know that there's playmakers here, but their backfield is older than me.
Javonte is not that old. Javonte Williams. He's in what, year 5 out of North Carolina. So
I
I
kind
mean,
of about running backs as dog ears.
Miles
They
Sanders is there. He was probably long in the tooth, but this is like a revenge game for him against the Eagles.
A
So
lot of
there's
talk
that.
about Jaden Blue. I don't know if you saw any of his. Obviously coming out of Texas,
Rookie out of Texas.
I've seen him pop it up a little bit higher on the fantasy drafts.
Yeah.
And for where Javante's going, I mean, have you seen how far down Javante Williams is? Like, we're talking like 8th round.
Yeah.
I mean, is he gonna? I mean, so are we gonna have a run game?
I mean, they're gonna pass the ball a lot. They have weapons to be able to pass the ball. I don't know how great their O-line will be. I think it'll be okay. Listen, we'll see what happens week 1. For me personally, I think this will be a scoring game. I think both teams will be able to move the ball. I know it's a division game, and we're always supposed to be able to take unders here, and we're always supposed to be able to take, underdogs.
47.5 is a lot.
24-24,
28-20.
28-20 is a winner. Yeah. I definitely see the Cowboys scoring 3 touchdowns here. So if I say the Cowboys are going to score 3 touchdowns, I know the spread's 7.5. I think I'm going to lean the over in the game for sure.
We shall see. I don't know.
It's not an official pick, but if you're telling me, like, gun to my head, I got to pick something, I'll take Dallas +8 and the over 47.5.
And our official picks will be out on Friday, folks. So make sure if you're not following on X, TikTok, again, shout out to all of our coming over from TikTok, man. We got a lot of love going on TikTok. Really appreciate you guys. Make sure you give us a follow over there. We'll be posting.
Is it love or hate?
Both. And I'll take it all as love. If you're commenting on me, it's just way to go. Chad coming in. Cowboys +8 is the pick.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, man. I just don't know. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
What is the Cowboys' state mentally going into this game? After all of the circus, after all the Micah Parsons drama, after everything that's happened with Jerry Jones and whatever you want to say as far as, he doesn't appreciate his players. He's not one of the boys as he tries to be. What is their mental state going in up against what we can arguably talk about is the best roster in football?
Let that bitch fly.
All right, there it is. We're gonna do a 3-second drop. It's gonna get aired out to CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens every play. Let's just let it fly and see what happens.
Let that bitch fly, bro.
I think the Cowboys mentally right now are broken. I really do. I just feel like they're broken. Chad, maybe that is it, because we did see there was a lot of issues with Micah's podcast and the way he shit on Dak or whatever else. Not really shit, whatever you want to say. Just not very becoming of a teammate to, point fingers, things of that nature. So maybe you're right, Chad. Maybe they really didn't want him there. I don't know. What happens? All I know is I have 2 questions about the Dallas Cowboys. Are they mentally there, and are they going to have a run game? We know that Dak can sling the ball like Jameis Winston and throw as many interceptions as Jameis Winston.
Let's just say this, right? I think their pass will set up their run. I don't think their run is going to set up their pass.
That's going to be an issue then. Because I think that, with the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't think they're going to run the ball very well at all anyway with the defensive front line, right? So to your point, you're going to have to open it up somehow. So I would expect a lot of crossing routes, a lot of, this, that, and the other, to your point, try to open it up. But if it doesn't happen, though, if it doesn't happen, the Cowboys are going to be in for a long day.
Yeah, but I could see a lot of tunnel screens that they run as well, too. Turbines, you see a lot of jet sweeps, different stuff like that. Like,
What did you say?
Let Schottenheimer get in his bag a little bit, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. We got football on Thursday. We get to break it down on Friday,
Absolutely. Not an official pick, Jeffrey, but what are you taking?
I just said I'm taking Cowboys +8, and I'll take the over.
All right. Before we get into our final goodbye segment, we do have a couple bets that I need to make sure that 3 times has logged down, a couple season bets here. So obviously we have the Bears-Bucks record, correct?
He's got. Hold on. Put your headphones on. Get on camera real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the 3 time. Before the trade, I bet the Cowboys win the East. Well, I think we're all fading the Commanders, except for
Yeah, we're not huge Commanders people here. The problem is
they're not going to get those last second scores and those one score games that went kind of like the Vikings.
Yeah, but I mean the Vikings got all of them last year. Like
right. That's what I'm saying. You're not the law of averages are going to come back.
Correct.
All right, so let's get into it. We have a few bets actually. I mean, we still have our Florida State outstanding bet, correct? Which obviously I won last year.
You have these bets in your head that you
say
are there
about?
Because he agrees with me.
Well, of course he's going to agree to you. Talk about the messy situation. There it is.
Maybe it's age. I don't know if it's
it's not. So if we don't, we should have two standing bets every season. Florida versus Florida State.
And what, record or straight up?
I think we did that just straight up. I think just that one game, correct? But we could do both. You got to feel good this year with Florida's record.
Schedule. I think you're at a disadvantage with Florida's schedule.
I'm always at a disadvantage. Florida plays in the SEC. He plays in the
Cupcake Jeremy, League. He was at a disadvantage last year. And what happened? We went 2-10, homie.
All right. So Florida State. Do you want to do overall? Let's just do head to head. Let's just do head to head.
I had the most unbelievable bet with Bobby too. I'm like, Bobby, he's a big Gator fan. I'm like, Bobby, Florida State's gonna be better than Florida this year. Just look at the schedule. What you guys got to play, yada yada yada. So we made a bet. Literally, I paid Bobby in week 7. Like it wasn't even. It was over, bro. I'm like, I'm not even like worrying about this. Is just terrible.
All right, so we're gonna do Florida State straight up, just the one game. Okay,
one game.
We do you want to add in the season? We could do.
Are you gonna watch the game with me? Or are you gonna leave at halftime again?
No, we definitely have to meet up every Florida State game moving forward for the rest of our lives.
Okay, you got to watch the whole game. You can't leave at halftime.
I can do whatever. If I have a medical emergency and I need to leave, or if my dog needs if my dog needs a shot,
6 pineapple high noons, and I was a medical emergency. Sound the alarms. Take him to
Houdini, baby.
All right, what do you have on the paper, Jay? What do you got on the paper?
All right, so I do this. So let's do Florida State straight up for 2 units. Florida State record for 1 unit.
I don't even have a say in this. I'm just okay. Whatever, it's fine.
Or we can just do straight bar tabs because the Florida State bar tab would be intense. We would both be there all day.
All day is an aggressive statement. All right, I have like a solid 3 hours now at my age, and I'm done.
Okay, well, I'm running laps around you, and I'm still a decade ahead of you. What
for those 3 hours? I'm a great time. You also don't do shots, so
well, there you go, Jeff. Stop doing shots.
No.
All right. So Florida State throughout the year, 1 unit. Florida State game pays the check that day. Okay, done. Book it, Jeff. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Chicago Bears. End of the year schedule.
Record. Yes.
1 unit.
I have that one,
and that's just a standing.
That's a bar tab. That's also a bar tab.
That's a bar tab.
Yes.
Just make them all bar tabs. I mean, what are we doing?
This used to be a polo, and then we just never bought each other a polo, and it's just
well, because you
snowballed
went through
into
your dark age and didn't want to pony up. But anyway, so those are any other bets between us and the group. Jeremy, do you want to throw any UCF bets in there?
You have more yards and TDs. Jeff has Amon St. Brown. You have Jameson Williams.
Oh, I do have that one. Yes, love that one for a bar tab. Do you know Amon St. Brown only had 200 more yards than Jameson Williams last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, Justice. Maybe I'm fucking 47 years old. How about that? 46? Somewhere around there.
I'm 46.
Yeah, I know. You're older than me. Weird.
Is that all we got? We're good, right?
Those are the bets we have so far.
Anything else? Those are standing bets. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we brought in the 3-time here to make sure we had that. Was that? I thought we had him come in for something else as well. No. Any errors, omissions, anything of that nature?
No.
All right. Do want to give a shout out to our boys, Marcus Buffington and TJ, whatever. They host their podcasts on Mondays on the Pop Sports Network via YouTube. You can find the link right there. Check them out on Mondays. Mondays at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Mondays at 10 o'clock.
Let me put this to all destinations here. Mondays at 10 o'clock. They do have a lot of prop bets, things of that nature. All your sports needs. You can check them out on Monday.
Going to be cool as well going forward. They're really good fantasy players as well as prop bettors. So if you're looking for an edge there, be able to find that. It's a great avenue for you. Monday mornings, 10 a.m. They will probably throw some stuff out as well too during the week. So if you get a chance, go over and you can follow them on Prop Sports Network as well over there as well too. So shout out to Gene and everybody over there as well. Nice people.
Absolutely. And for us, we're back. You get more of the uninformed fan. We are going to be back on Friday at 11 o'clock and Monday at 11 o'clock. And you might even see a Wednesday one sprinkled in there as well. It's just going to depend on how it goes. So book it. We will change all socials this week to reflect the Friday and Monday time. And then Wednesdays will kind of be an as needed type thing. We'll see how it goes. But really appreciate all the love on the socials, guys. Really appreciate everything. More
appreciate all the comments. Thank you, Justice. Thank you, Chad. Shonick. I think that's how you say that.
Buff's still on strike. You know, he's still a little salty. I think we'll see him back around after.
Well,
after
I can't believe that you changed your name to Champ in the group.
I text. I'm the champ, baby. Come get some.
Like nobody's ever done that. It just seems
exactly. And this is what I'm talking about. It's very shit talky. Like let's rival it up a little bit. Let's get excited. Let's talk some shit. I'm the one that's going to fall the hardest if my team blows chunks, and then everybody's going to be piling on. Oh, Champ. Oh, the honey pot this year, huh? Champ, how's it going, Champ?
He just wants people to call him Champ as a new nickname. You know, that's all it is.
Well, I'm just
it's tough when you haven't experienced
after Wednesday,
the
trophy will be back. Well, it's kind of like Florida State, right? Act like you've been there. You don't need to storm the field just because you beat a team, right?
It's fucking
Act
ridiculous,
like you've been
bro. I hate that take, by the way, from these people that are like, I can't believe they stormed the field. Act like you've been there before. Like, suck my dick from the back. Seriously. Like, let me just say this. Like, we had to go through so much bullshit for a year and a half. We got shit on. We got dogged on. We're 14-point fucking underdogs. And we came in there and we whooped Alabama's ass. You know, just like when you guys bitched when we beat Florida and they stormed the field. When was that? 2 or 3 years ago, right? It wasn't about that. It was about the moment. It was about going through this fucking struggle that we've gone through and being able to celebrate together with everybody. That's why you saw the fucking dean is down there. The president's down there taking pictures with all the fans on the field. $50,000 will sell you. We don't care.
Act like you've been there before. When you win a bunch of big games and it's regular and you don't go 2-13.
Thank you, Chad.
Then you don't have to do it. Chad, appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, first time listener, I appreciate you, man. If you wouldn't mind, though, just put it in the chat. I don't know if it'll be in there before we get out. Just let me know how you found us. Be very curious to see about that and appreciate you jumping in. Be sure to spread the word. We will also start putting out our NFL picks.
Yeah.
Starting this weekend as well. Those will be on the socials only. As far as like a hard copy, we'll put that. Obviously, we're going to talk about it on the show on Friday, but then we'll also put those out on the socials as well. So make sure that you're following from all those. Yes, Justice, he did say from the back, and I've seen him naked in a crib. That's a very, very tough.
You got to preface that
scenario.
shit, bro. You got to preface
tough
that.
scenario.
All right, you can't just come out with that.
No
statement.
way somebody's doing
you
something
can't just,
like that.
You can't just say that. Like, be like, I saw him naked in a crib, bro. Like,
I've seen Jeffrey naked, and from the back is going to take some work.
You're a troll.
Jesus.
That's going to do it for us today on this special Tuesday edition of the Uninformed Fan. Thank you again so much for the love.
Very special.
We will see you back Friday at 11 a.m. Until then, if you do happen to be driving, please, for the love of God, stay out of the left-hand lane.
Be great.